Okay, now
No
we
issue.
can really start. So, hello again, everybody. Today we are Barbara and myself. Unfortunately, Roxanne Gardner was not able to be with us, but she's with us in spirit, let's say, as well as a couple of other colleagues we have from Boston that are Jenny Rudolph and Rebecca Minard, because what we are about to share with you today is a work, a collective work that is ongoing since last year. So the working team behind our presentation is made by 5 people.
Yes, 5 people, some from the Center for Medical Simulation in Boston. Fernando, would you like to say more?
Center for Medical Simulation is one of the branches from Harvard Medical School, and they are well known worldwide because they focus on behavioral simulation. Behavioral simulation in healthcare means mainly creating scenarios where people are expected to perform crises and situations that sometimes they have to face during working hours. And we work together from, or since better, 2016, December 2016. We have the Real Innovation Lab that is part of LogosNet. LogosNet is an international network that with Barbara and other colleagues we set up 28 years ago in 1996. And we work cooperatively with academic bodies as well as research institutions and corporations from 80 countries. One and the major research partner that we have in medical simulation is the Center for Medical Simulation in Boston. That is why we are talking also on behalf of them. Another research center we have used to work with also for the topics that we are presenting today is the one of the training center from the International Red Cross. In this case is the Luigi Gusmeroli Training Center from Bologna, Italy. Last but not least, we founded a PhD school in artificial intelligence with the Polytechnic School of Turin and with the University of Turin. So we are also talking on behalf of them because we share a joint team that is enabling the avatars, because today we are about to introduce you some avatars. And the intelligence, the artificial intelligence behind our avatars is mainly developed in Turin, Italy, thanks to those 2 academic institutions, as well as thanks to our colleagues from our ICT department.
So today we are here with you to share one of our projects about using generative AI and conversational avatars as training partners working about feedback. Our program, if you can go on one slide, Fer. Our program today is talking about the importance of practice and feedback in learning. We strongly believe that the more we are able to practice and the more we can receive real-time feedback, the best we learn. How can we enhance learning and readiness with AI-driven avatars? And we will talk about 2 case studies about how to practice with avatars. One is about de-escalating combative patients, and the other is about debriefing a delegation. And we will close our speech today talking about how we design AI-driven avatars. So starting from the scratch, building their physical aspects, their personality, and most of all, building the feedback that is so useful talking about learning.
So let's say that today the key word is feedback in learning, associated with the practice, practicing and obtaining or giving feedback, depending on if we are instructors or teachers or learners. And artificial intelligence in order to boost avatars.
And if you go on, Fernando, we know that learning needs feedback. We work a lot with simulation techniques, and we have action, we have feedback, reflection. We are talking about reflective practice, and again, feedback. And the most this feedback is real-time feedback. The most we learn in real time. So go ahead, Fer. What do we mean by real-time feedback? We mean a feedback that is immediate. So I'm practicing, and in real time, I can check how am I doing. So this helps a lot to correct immediately errors, and most of all, to reinforce correct behavior. Allows better understanding and also better retention, encourages and motivates learners, because when we have the circle closing immediately, we are motivated to try again, to practice more in order to learn more. And the result is an increased confidence. We need self-confidence in learning. We'll need to become more confident in our capabilities to really be able to behave in our best way. We know that the more frequently and consistently we provide feedback, the better is for learners. But we also know that sometimes this is not possible. Today we are talking about healthcare training, and specifically we are talking about nurses training. And there is in this year's fair, if you want to share the next 2 slides, this is about the importance of having a timely, accurate, and actionable feedback. But what we know, if you go ahead, Fer, is that there is a strong nursing faculty shortage. The American Association of Colleges of Nursing is telling us that we miss 29,000 new students because of the lack of faculty, classroom space, and other administrative concerns. So is the faculty delivering feedback, but we are lacking faculties. From these needs, we thought that could be very useful developing programming with AI-driven avatars to have the possibility to practice and to have meaningful real-time feedback, personalized feedback in real time automatically using the artificial intelligence. And so we developed this program of artificial intelligence-driven conversational, where students can meet an avatar. Fair, go on, please. They can practice difficult conversations with an avatar that is projected on a wall. They can practice in immersive spaces. They can practice on their laptop. And we think that this can really allow students having hours and hours of practice. Please first start the Jenny Rudolph's video.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about the promise of artificial intelligence-driven conversation coaching for the future of simulation. First, I'd like to start with a story. As a member of the United States women's rowing team, we practiced hundreds of hours for minutes of competition. Imagine that we could practice at least 4 minutes to achieve mastery in a difficult conversation, for example, about end-of-life care, or as an educator, being better able to do a feedback conversation and get consistent feedback. AI-driven avatars, AI-driven learning environments that allow us to simulate these difficult conversations with almost real-time feedback will enable us to achieve the goal of mastery learning in these difficult conversations with the expert input we need at scale.
Yes, and our question here is, are you ready? We are talking, go on, Fair, please. We are talking about readiness, being ready to use our competencies to face challenging in real time, in real life. Where do we start? Where do we start when we talk about conversation mastery and when we talk about building a simulation, a virtual simulation space? Please, Fair, go on, clicking one by one. So, here, first case, combative patient de-escalation readiness. We want our learners to be ready to de-escalate an aggressive patient. Go. We start as a first point from a specific situation mastery. In this case, you go, Fernando, without me saying, dealing with a patient that is angry about waiting, that is frustrated because of the pain, and that is verbally aggressive. So we start from a specific scenario. And let me allow to come back to the fundamental skills that learners need to be able to face the situation. In this case, we have empathy, non-aggressive language, assertiveness, reassuring language. And these are the skills that we use to build the feedback from the avatar, from the artificial intelligence build. Our goal is really having learners that at the end of this training are ready to de-escalate conflicts during real-life conversations, to proactively prepare themselves for difficult patient-nurse conversation. So we talk about readiness when we want students not only to learn, not only to understand, but really to be ready to perform at their best with confidence. In a minute, we will show you our avatars, but before, let me show what is behind the avatar. There is a rubric, like we use a rubric when we do simulation, when we do assessment. Fair, show please the rubric. And the rubric is about these 4 competencies that we want to boost our training: empathy, assertiveness, avoiding aggressive language and behavior, and using reassuring language. We have 3 different levels, and we have the description of the specific competence. We use all these to build our simulation space and our simulation feedback. So let's take a look. I introduced to you Anna. Anna is our really aggressive and upset patient. Fernando, would you like to show Anna, please?
Is there?
Yes, and each simulation at the beginning has the simulation overview. So what are the simulation context and scenario? We have Anna Smith that is at the clinic for her stitch wound follow-up after a bicycle accident. As the nurse in charge, you are running behind. Your goal as a learner is to foster a positive patient-nurse relationship and escalate any conflict. So, in this specific scenario, the learners have the occasion to practice the 4 competencies that we just saw in the rubric. And let's take a look about one of the learners practicing with Anna that is, in this case, projected on a big wall.
This is a very big wall from our area labs. In this case, in Turin, Italy, is one of the labs where we develop and prototype our solutions. So it's a little bit in between an immersive setting and a theatrical place also for shootings and recordings.
Yes, to specify better, sometimes we work with avatars on the laptop, sometimes we work with avatars projected on one wall or a totem, sometimes a corner that gives a better immersivity, and in other cases, a 3 or 4 walls immersive room that is really immersive.
Okay. May I start?
Yes, please.
Look, I've been here over an hour. Check my leg now. The pain's unbearable.
Hello, Anna. My name is Masa. I would love to help you, but today we are busy, so it would really be helpful if you just sit down and wait for your turn.
I've been patient, but this is serious. I can't just sit while my wound worsens.
I understand your situation, but as I said, we are busy, and as you can see, everybody is in pain.
Everyone's pain matters, but waiting this long with stitches is just unacceptable.
As I said, I'm so sorry for the thing that happened to you, but I cannot do anything else.
Apologies don't ease pain. This is urgent. You should prioritize cases like mine accordingly.
Now I'm going to be unprofessional. Look, lady, I just told you calmly and easily that you have to wait no matter what, because everybody here is in pain and they want their turn. So it would be really helpful if you just sit down. Thank you.
Understood, but my condition could worsen. I need someone to take this seriously now.
We're going to take you seriously if you just be respectful and read the room, because you're in a clinic and we have to be really calm. And if you don't understand this, I will be really harsh to you.
Respect goes both ways. My injury is critical and waiting longer isn't an option for me.
Yeah, I understand, but at the same time, just screaming at me doesn't really ease your pain. If you're continuing to do this, I would ask you to leave, because this is disrespectful. And just leave. That's it.
I
I'm not here to scream, but I am in agony. Please, I need to be seen.
So what we are seeing there is that the learner has the occasion to interact with the avatars. The dialogue is free, so the learner really can interact doing her best to try to de-escalate the conflict. On the screen, you see projected the transcription of the dialogue. The system allows the learner to have the transcription always open or to open it at the end of the interview. In our opinion, this is really helpful in order to go back to understand the dynamic in the relationship. And the avatar is built, you saw at the very beginning, to be aggressive, but there are shadows in the emotions of this patient. The most the learner is able to be empathetic, to use reassurance, the most the avatar will calm down. The most the learner will be aggressive, the most the avatar will become aggressive. And Fer, let's take a look of the feedback. So there is one option that is opening the transcription. Another option is opening the feedback. And in the feedback, you can see on the left side of the screen your phrases. So all the phrases pronounced by the learner. In the blue square, you can see highlighted phrase by phrase what the learner told to the patient. In this case, there is a title because this phrase has been detected as a reassuring language phrase. So, hello, Anna, my name is Masa. I would love to help you, but today we are busy. So it would really be helpful if you just sit down and wait for your turn. The feedback is structured in a way where you have your phrase, the key points. In this case, your approach is calm and you are offering a solution by asking Anna to wait for her turn. This maintains a positive tone, even in the face of a demanding situation. But most of all, we think that feedback has to offer also solution and guidance. So not only pointing out the flaws, but also giving guidance. And so at the very end, we have a suggestion for rephrasing. And you can see that this phrase is really more empathetic. Hello, Anna. I understand that waiting can be frustrating, especially when you are not feeling well. We are doing our best to attend to everyone as quickly as possible. Your understanding and patience are greatly appreciated. So the learner can go through all the phrases, watching and the characteristics, the key points, but also having the occasion to see a suggestion for rephrasing. That is really helpful. Then, if Fernando, you go on, we can see other two feedback about this dialogue. The aggressive language detected by the artificial intelligence. We're gonna take you seriously if you just be respectful and leave the room because you are in a clinic. And again, key points and rephrasing. Or the last is an empathetic phrase. So what's happening here, if you go on, Fer, is that we have the frames of the learners that influences his actions. and that influence the results. And the feedback allows to go back and debrief the results in order to understand the behavioral level of the actions and to understand the frames that are determining this kind of behavior. So this allows really learning and boosting competencies. Usually when we use this kind of programs, learners have the avatars really free for them, so they can try different scenarios. They can see different feedback, so they can see the boosting of their competencies, and each 5 to 10 feedback, they have the instructor coming to them to help with more structured feedback. Fernando, don't know if you would like to add something.
Just focus or point out that the students may be within a classroom, could be a real immersive classroom, one or usually 2 or more projected walls, or they may face a totem or just their own computer, laptop or PC or Mac, or last but not least, they may work using their own mobile devices like telephones or pads. So very different ways to deliver the same experience. For sure, the most immersive one is the one where students are living collectively the experience into an immersive classroom.
So technology is truly important, but is important and effective in the moment where is really the way to deliver a meaningful feedback. It's not about the technology, but it's about having the possibility to learn, facing realistic situations, facing realistic scenarios, and having real-time feedback that allows to understand our behaviors, to understand our frames, to be reflective practitioners that have the possibility to think about their behaviors and to practice and practice.
Here, really, students may practice a lot, and the feedback in real time, in our experience, is really powerful, robust in terms of learning process, because you are delivered really just in time with specific input from a system that is capturing tons of data.
Yes, in real time means that you can check your feedback at the end of your simulation, of your conversation, or if you prefer, you can check the feedback after a moment where you really need to understand if you are going the right direction or not. And what we are seeing right now is that in a lot of cases, learners open the feedback when really they are struggling about understanding if they are going in the right direction. And so in each scenario, the possibility at any minute to open the feedback and to have real-time feedback, to go back, to see their phrases, to check if they are really de-escalating, in this case, the conflict, or if the patient was less aggressive at the beginning of the conversation and some of the interaction made the patient more aggressive. And this possibility to have a personalized real-time feedback is really something powerful in learning, because while you are completely engaged in the simulation, is really the right moment to listen to feedback. Imagine sometimes we receive a feedback after 1 week, after 2 hours, sometimes after 2 weeks. It's very difficult remembering what was the occasion of what was our behavior, what we had in mind in that specific moment. It's powerful having the feedback immediately, while as learners we are completely involved in the simulation. And
let me add, Barbara, that is a feedback that is objective because the system, the machine, the artificial intelligence behind the performance is really able to mirror student by student all the relevant factors. Under this regard, in our opinion, is better than the subjective feedback delivered by instructors that usually are different. And in the case of nurses, that are missing. So basically, we are fulfilling a need that cannot be fulfilled by real human beings, because in many cases, instructors are not there, are not available. So thanks to artificial intelligence, in this case, we are able to deliver a really meaningful feedback and following a standardized approach, rich but standardized.
Yes, and you can practice multiple times, and this also is really impactful. I think that we can go on and take a look of a second case. We are talking about debriefing in this case, how to deliver a feedback. So again, we are talking about a feedback, but we go a little bit in a complicated situation, because we are talking about giving a feedback on the feedback. So the goal is developing the feedback skills for healthcare managers. And the specific situation, Fernando, if you can go on, is a situation where a manager has to deliver a feedback, a real-time feedback on colleagues' delegation skills. We go checking our foundational skills mastering, and we have provide specific feedback based on observable behaviors. That is one of the specific skill we have to really to boost when we want to have a good quality feedback. Avoids language that puts the manager down. We use the debriefing with good judgment model in this case to guide the feedback. And in a minute, we will go checking this model. And the system also go to check the use of non-judgmental language. The goal is being ready for feedback conversations and having the occasion to prepare for difficult feedback conversations relating to delivering negative feedback, related to delivering feedback with learners that are not really willing to receive a feedback. If you go on in the next slide, we have the debriefing with the good judgment model from our colleague Jenny Rudolph. Is a complicated model, and we decided to have this into this presentation because we think that it can really be useful to understand how far can go the artificial intelligence in delivering a feedback. So our avatars are able to deliver at the end of the conversation a feedback on such a complicated scheme that you can see in the rubric also. So we have different phases, and we have different communication skills that we need, like talking, using phrases like I saw, I think, I wonder. So specifying what really I saw and is objective, what is my thinking about the situation. We check how learners are able to follow all the steps of this rubric. And I think we can take a look of another avatar in another situation. If you want to share, Fer, you can go on.
Hey there, can you spare a minute?
Sure, what's up?
I'm swamped right now, drowning in deadlines, and I need your help.
Absolutely. Tell me what I can do.
Listen, I wish I had the luxury of time to go over all the nitty-gritty details. Just trust me on this. It's something important. I'd like you to take care of an in-depth analysis. Can you take care of it?
I understand the urgency. Just to clarify, are there any particular points you'd like emphasized in the analysis?
Good point. Focus on the customer satisfaction metrics and our competitive positioning. Those are key areas the client will be interested in. However, use your judgment on what highlights our strengths.
Got it. And regarding the format for the presentation, any preferences?
Good thinking. Keep it concise, yet comprehensive. A visual representation of the data would be great. Charts, graphs, you know the drill. I trust your creativity on this.
Understood. If I run into any roadblocks, is there someone specific I should reach out to for guidance?
Absolutely. Go to Sarah from the analytics team. She'll provide the support you need. And, of course, I'm here for any high-level clarifications you may require. But, ideally, you won't need to contact me.
So different scenario and different way to use avatars. In this case, we have to deliver a feedback, so we are in need to participate to a situation where we can see a behavior to work on the specific feedback. And so this was the situation, and now we have the manager ready to receive our feedback. And we can see our colleague Daniel trying to deliver at his best the feedback to the manager.
Hi there, it's nice to see you. I hope your day is going well.
Hi Melinda, thanks for taking the time to talk. I would like to first talk about what I saw as a confusing request to be both concise and comprehensive. I'm concerned with what it may be difficult for your colleague to execute. What's most important to you in this context?
I intended for the report to be straight to the point yet include essential details. If that wasn't clear, I'll aim for better clarity next time.
Okay, so how would you plan to handle something like this next time?
Next time, I'll be sure to provide more straightforward instructions. I understand the need for clearer communication. Thank you for your feedback.
Let's see what would be if I say something a bit snarky. Well, I'm surprised we even have to have this conversation in the first place. This is such a basic skill.
I appreciate your perspective, This situation has provided me a chance to reflect and work on my areas of improvement. Your insights are valuable. Thanks.
Okay, now let's take a look at our feedback.
And this is the feedback.
And this is the feedback. I'm checking the messages, and it seems that online audience cannot see any screen share. Can you confirm? Can you see now? Not sure. Yes, perfect. Happy to know. If there is something that you missed out, please let us know. And at the same time, let us know if you have any questions so far. In a minute, we will leave the stage to your questions. Now is, again, a different feedback, same model. So we have our phrase, the phrase pronounced by the learner on the blue square, the key points, and a suggestion for rephrasing. In this case, you see the feedback is more complicated. It's more complicated because we have a lot of key points related to the way learners are communicating, but also about the way they are following their script and the main steps of the feedback. So in this case, you have a rephrasing again that helps being really clear in the communication, that helps really avoiding judgment and focalizing the attention on the behaviors. If you go on further, we can see another phrase of the feedback. In this case is, hi Melinda, thanks for taking the time to talk. I would like to first ask about what I saw is a confusing request to be both concise and comprehensive. And if you see in the rephrasing, I noticed that there seems to be a request for, so it's more respectful as a language. And you can also spot on the left side of the screen some red icons. And these are the icons we put on the phrases that need more attention, where really learners have to focus to collect the feedback. Because you can imagine that at the end of an interview, of a dialogue, the phrases are a lot. And so it's important having a sign that tells the learner, you need really to focus here.
Let me add that Barbara is saying the icon we put, but is the system that is automatically putting the icon. All this process is automated.
Yes, but our engineers that put these icons in order to let learners really understand where is the point to focus their attention. And I would like to highlight this because we really designed both the avatars and the situations, the scenarios, and the feedback from the scratch. And each feedback is personalized in order to really respond to the goals of the organizations and or of the instructors, because we know that we have also different way to deliver feedback. We have different way to delegate. And as educators, we think that is really important, that practicing conversations can fit with the specific culture of the organization where we work. And going on, you can show, Fernando, maybe some of the learners interactive with different avatars on the walls, on the tablet.
Laptop. In this case, we are missing personal mobile phones, but is the other available option.
Are there questions so far?
Comments, doubts?
Do you see me?
Not.
No?
You can't see you?
Okay.
We can't, but we can hear you.
So my name is Hagir, I'm from Israel, and it was very impressive. And I wonder whether you can elaborate on the technological part behind this simulation, about the development of such simulation. What does it? What did you need in terms of technology to do it?
Our technology that is developed at the Real Labs in between Houston, Texas, Lugano, Switzerland, and mainly Turin, Italy, where we have the doctoral school with the Polytechnic and the University of Turin. And our technology means developing and training neural networks, sometimes online, other times only locally. So sometimes using also large language models like ChatGPT or Gemini or Cloud. Other times when we work locally, only our networks that are trained by us. We can train networks to generate both dialogues and images. So from the client side, what we need is agreeing about the educational expected outputs. And then we start designing and developing using graphic engines, usually Unity or Unreal 4, and using different generative AI techniques jointly with an instructional approach that is known as universal learning design, merged with backward design. That means, in a few words, that we start from the expected outputs. And then we develop, we test, and so on. Sometimes it takes some weeks, other times a few days. It depends on the complexity.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Anna.
Maybe someone from the virtual would like to add something? So thank you. Thank you very much. It was very interesting.
It's us. Thank you.
One person do want to ask you something. So,
Hi, this is Yuning. I believe one person typed the question in the chat. If you can check on it.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, Barbara, I think you're muted.
Yes, the question is, what do you observe in learners? How do they interact with the avatars? What are the emotional reactions? Learners usually are really engaged with the avatars. At the very beginning, a little bit scared. First reaction is, it feels so strange that these avatars are able to speak like a real human being. But then the feedback that we are collecting is in the direction of saying is so comfortable talking with the avatars because they are not judgmental. when we practice in the simulation room with other colleagues, we are more, let's say, scared about their judgment. With the avatar, there is no shame. And this is something interesting we found out. And other feedback are related. It depends also on the age of the people interacting with the avatars. I remember in 2 or 3 cases, people saying, "Oh, this is so strange. You are proposing to develop something that really is a typical human being skill, like empathy, with an avatar that is not a human being." And so sometimes there is a little bit of the idea we can't trust avatars. And then practicing, the feeling changes, because it's really useful having the feedback, is really useful having the possibility to dialogue, doing our best, but sometimes also trying to do something we never did in our life. So I try to be more aggressive than usual, and I see what's happening. And I would like to share the last slide with the QR code. So if you are interested in testing the avatar, in having an interview with the avatar, you can go through this QR code and put an appointment with an avatar on Calendly. And so this give you the occasion to try to test.
Let me try to share again the screen like that. And I'm here. 1 second. Okay, this is
here.
So you can directly reach us, in this case, our colleague Daniel, that was the colleague that talking to Melinda in the second case. And we can easily arrange a meeting online to have a deeper understanding from a practical point of view of what is talking to an avatar.
And Fer, if you like to go back 1 or 2 slides, you have some more avatars to show. So these are some of our avatars. We use avatars a lot also to face the AI-related topics, so about diversity and inclusion. So we try to really have very diverse avatars to practice sometimes the same situation with very different people, and to see if the learner's behavior change. And that's all. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask or to write us.
It was a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.